I discovered I could smell cancer as a child. Anyone else out there have this quirk? My relative is still alive and kicking, so no sad stuff. However, when I was young I would spend nearly every week with her. She was just very sweet and doted on me a lot, which was a stark contrast to my tumultuous home life, so I loved staying with her. When I was around maybe like 6 to 8 I went to her house after going on vacation and she smelled so bad. As a child, just being a child, I was honest. She seemed hurt, and took a shower but the smell didn't leave. I hate to admit it, but I was so upset as a kid about the smell that I didn't want her to cook for me. The smell was just too much, and I have germaphobic tendencies. In my child mind, the smell would get near my food and I had a meltdown over it. Which was probably really shitty to be on the receiving end of in retrospect. A few weeks later I was back and the smell was still there. I was relentless. It smells like a possum in the road I saw one time was the only way child me could explain what it was like to her. At some point I think she either began to get worried and decided to go to the drive, or just went for another reason. Thank God she did. Turns out she had melanoma. She had a procedure to remove the patches and made a full recovery, and after that, out of curiosity, she asked me if the smell was still there, so I hugged her tight to get a good whiff and it was completely gone. A few years later, around maybe 10 to 13 years old, I went to visit her, and the smell was back. I told her, "Remember when you stunk?" And she said, "Oh no. Do I need to go to the doctor again?" This time she found out she was in one of the earlier stages of breast cancer and ended up getting a mastectomy. Again making a full recovery. Smell went away. Third time, was melanoma again, I'm pretty sure. But every time she's ever had cancer I've caught it by scent. I'm curious if anyone else has ever smelled it. I've always had a very sensitive nose. I'm also curious if I only caught it because I know her smell well enough to notice if it changes, like I could maybe only do it if I know the person's usual scent? For those who maybe be wondering, it smells like that sickly sweet, rotting dead animal on a hot day. If you've ever had the displeasure of smelling such a thing. Either way. Pretty trippy. I have always been curious about it. No one else in my family smelled what I was smelling. Edit, fix some spelling and ease of reading. Also had no clue this was going to blow up this much, so thanks for all the supportive and interesting comments. This is the closest thing to a human superpower. You should have this as a career and be paid very well for it, if you could bear the smell regularly. My dad claims he can smell cancer on people too. Same. Ugh. Yes. I thought it was just me. One of my best friends growing up, her father and brother both had cancer when we were kids. Her dad had leukemia, ultimately passing away at home, and her brother had bone cancer, but lived after having several marrow transplants. Her house smelled like cancer. That's when I first noticed it. Coincidentally, I was thinking about this the other day and wondering if it was a product of my imagination. This is a rare thing that has been documented. Some people can smell cancer. It's very rare though. Unlikely that anyone responding to this can. Wait. Okay, so my friend was pet and house sitting for me this past weekend. When I walked into the house after being gone for 3 days, it smelled bad. But I couldn't identify what it was. She kept the place clean, she'd scooped my cat's litter daily, my dog smelled fine. I was the only one who seemed to notice the smell. I ended up lighting a candle. She stayed for dinner and left last night. The smell has gone away. I wonder if I should encourage her to go to a doctor.